The following podcast is brought to you by Pro Wrestling Connect, Australia's newest choice for event management and brand development specialising in pro wrestling.
And now, the B Plus Wrestling Podcast. Watch global. Support local. It's the B Plus Wrestling Podcast.
The moves.
B plus.
Check it out!
Alright, ladies, gents, and non-binary friends, welcome to the B Plus Podcast. I'm your host, Greg Unchained. Today is Saturday. You know what that means. It's time for the NXT edition of The View from the WWE Universe. Even though The View from the WWE Universe isn't a thing anymore, it's the Lonely Fan WWE podcast because CJ is alone. Because no one likes WWE, including this woman who left The View from the WWE Universe for the greener pastures of the NXT edition. Danders, how are you?
Living large. And I'm so shattered because, and I didn't mention it on the WWE podcast because I wasn't on it, but my good friend Ryan Taylor, who I know super well, hashtag name dropping, was on both. He's been both on 205 Live and was on Raw. So I was super shattered. He was like a jobber, but still, like, fucking cool. So I watched those snippets, but yeah.
Okay, yeah. So you're still watching bits of WWE when your friends are on?
Yeah. And I felt like WWE knew that I was drifting, and they used Ryan as a way to get me back. And it has not worked.
It hasn't worked.
No.
The actual WWE shows were still awful. But you did watch NXT and NXT UK, so here we are, NXT Edition.
I already specified I did not watch UK.
Goddamn bitch, Danders. You have one job.
I feel like, being my friend, you have to accept certain flaws that I'm just not going to do things.
But being the person who runs the podcast network that is the B+, I'm very disappointed in you, Danders.
That's okay. You should meet my
I'm not
parents.
mad. I'm just disappointed.
Oh, you can be. It sounds like you're mad, though.
I am a little mad. Because now I have to do that thing where I run through the UK results all on my own. This week on NXT UK, we're at the Download Festival. Kenny Williams comes out and takes on Cassius Ohno. Cassius Ohno wins. It was a good match. Kenny Williams looked really good in this match, but the right man won. Obviously, you know, Cassius Ohno is a legend in the sport as far as I'm... Like, any indie wrestling fan would consider Cassius Ohno a bit of a legend at this point. And so, you know, you got to keep him strong, give him wins every now and then if he's going to do the gatekeeper thing effectively.
Kenny Williams sounds like a country music singer.
Yes. No one disagrees with you.
That's my take on
That's your
NXT,
hot take?
Yeah. NXT UK.
He sounds like a country music singer, but he looks like a guy who like dances to doof music, like at the club, obnoxiously too.
God.
Yeah. So as Cassius Ohno is leaving, though, Imperium start making their way to the ring. So like he's not even all the way out yet, and Imperium's music hits, like Volta's music hits, and he like looks terrified and runs away, which I thought was brilliant because he's like the big I'm a knockout artist heel, right? And even he is terrified of Imperium. To be fair, there are 4 of them.
Word.
Yeah. So they come out and they say that their unit is now complete. Say that, you know, everyone needs to respect their values and NXT UK have to obey them. The crowd start chanting for Pete Dunne, who never shows up. Alexander Wolf said it made sense for him to join Imperium, and Volta says that Travis Banks is a fool, which of course brings out Travis Banks. And Travis Banks basically says we're going to have our match next week. So Travis Banks is challenging for the NXT UK title on next week's NXT UK TV. That might be one for you to watch, Danders.
Look, whether or not you choose to hold your breath is within your discretion there.
But it's Volta versus Travis Banks for the UK title. Nothing.
Sick, bruzzy.
Getting nothing. Okay, cool. Moving on. Noam Dar is outside at the Download Fest and he gets offended by the idea that he's been taking a dive with his whole injured knee situation. He sees Kenny Williams come out after his match and offers to take him under his wing. He does the whole, you see this? Do you know what this is? This is a wing. He does that whole thing and offers to put Kenny Williams under it. Kenny Williams doesn't seem to be interested. Now I can't stop thinking of country music every time I say Kenny Williams.
I feel like Kenny Williams is a country music singer.
I think you're thinking of Kenny Loggins,
No, because he's not a country music singer.
isn't he?
No.
He has restaurants. I thought he was a country music singer as well.
Kenny Loggins does Footloose and did he do Danger
Okay.
Zone?
Does Kenny Loggins do Danger Zone? I'm thinking of Kenny Loggins. That's who
Yeah.
I'm thinking
Yeah,
of.
he's not a country. He's a singer, but he's not a country singer. There's not, according to
Highway to the Danger Zone. Damn. I
Mm.
just think of Archer whenever I hear that.
Danger Zone. When Daniel and I started dating, that was his message tone, and sometimes it would go off in the middle of the night. And it'd be like sleeping, and it would just go Danger Zone. It was terrifying. And
Amazing.
there's my tidbit. What else happened on NXT UK? I'm dying to
The
know.
Hunt took on Gallus. They set this match up last week. Gallus pick up the win here. Makes sense. I like the Hunt better than Gallus, but again, you got to keep the bigger names strong sometimes with a win over the up-and-comers that are on a hot streak. And then after the match, they're 3-on-2 attacking. Dave Mastiff comes out for the save and runs them off. You got to think that Dave Mastiff and the Hunt will be able to fend off Gallus in a 3-on-3 match, and they'll get their heat back there. Then we get Moustache Mountain saying that they're coming for the tag team titles. Pretty generic promo, nothing special. And then we have a women's battle royal. This was kind of the Jazzy Gabert show for a while until she gets eliminated by Zia Brookside in a shock move, and then everyone teams up on Ginny. Jazzy saves her. Early in the match, Kaylee Ray got thrown out, but didn't actually get eliminated. She went through the middle rope, and then she returned right at the end, eliminating Zia Brookside right after Zia thought she had won. And that's NXT UK for this week. So
Sounds amazing. Sounds
Kaylee Ray
breathtaking.
will be moving on to challenge for the women's title. And next week, we have a big title match between Volta and Travis Banks. I will not hold my breath for you, Danders, but now let's talk about the Grapple app. Have you gotten on the Grapple app, Danders? Have you done some ratings yet?
No, but that's because I haven't really watched any wrestling. So
Well, you've watched NXT.
yeah, but I'm not gonna.
You're the
go.
NXT guy. You gotta rate the NXT matches.
Fucking
right?
fine. I'll rate the NXT matches.
You sound so enthused.
I know. Look, I wanted to do this earlier, to be fair.
Look, okay, yeah, and to be fair, I apologize. My children wouldn't go to sleep. There's, the whims of the universe. So here we are. It's 10:30. Let's talk about NXT. Well, no, I'm talking about Grapple. Danders, stop trying to rush me, okay? Grapple is fantastic, and you need to use it, just like everyone listening needs to use it. We want as many Australians on there as possible so we can get more Australian wrestling on there so that the big user base over in the UK and America can also see how good Aussie wrestling is when we have like all these Robbie Eagles, Will Ospreay matches showing up with 5 stars. It does good things for the scene. So it's basically a Rotten Tomatoes of wrestling. You get on there. It's democratizing the match rating system. So Dave Meltzer is no longer the gatekeeper, the one man who decides what is or is not good wrestling. You, dear listener, you at Danders and me at Greg Unchained, we all have a say in what matches get 5 stars, what matches get 3 stars, etc., etc. WWE match ratings are woeful, Danders. I don't know.
I can imagine.
It's probably to be expected, but it's a really good app, and everyone needs to download it. Go to Grapple. That's GRAPPL.co from your browser on your phone, or you can find it, of course, in iTunes, in Google Play. It's completely free. Get on it. Follow me at Greg Unchained. Follow Danders and see her non-existent ratings at Danders. Was it at Danders? That was your
At
username,
Danders,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. And you can see her rate the NXT show we're about to talk to if she decides to do it. What did you think of NXT this week, Danders?
Yeah, it was pretty good. It's pretty good. I'm a big Undisputed Era fan, so I feel like when a show's got a lot of Undisputed Era, I'm about that.
Yeah, this show was kind of built around them. They kicked off the show celebrating Adam Cole's title win. How good was the little NXT opening, like the clip that they rolled?
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was pretty quality.
It's just all Adam Cole.
Yeah.
So he tells all the other champions in NXT to shine up their titles real nice so that they look good for Bobby, Roddy, and Kyle. It says that no one can touch them, not even Triple H.
Ooh, name
Yeah.
dropping.
Right? And then this brings out Velveteen Dream, and he tells Adam Cole, "I'd like to touch you," which I popped for, like way harder than I should.
Yeah, for sure.
This is such a good line. It just suited the character so well. And then Roderick Strong's like, "You don't deserve anything." And then Matt Riddle comes out. So obviously we're going to get a multi-man match here. Adam Cole says Matt Riddle's jealous, tells Riddle to go back to writing online reviews for wrestlers from the Attitude Era.
Is that a thing that he does?
You didn't see all the stuff with Matt Riddle and Goldberg?
No.
So after the Super Showdown, right?
Oh, okay, which I didn't watch.
Yeah, no, I didn't watch it either, but you would have heard about the Goldberg and Undertaker match and how much of a disaster it was.
Yes, I did hear that. Yes.
Yes. And Matt Riddle was like live tweeting and just saying how much of a joke Goldberg is and how Goldberg is literally the worst wrestler of all time and shouldn't be allowed to step between the ropes. And just all this, it's just a lot of trash talking to Goldberg, but it didn't come across as like, you know, the trash talking he does with Brock Lesnar. Like, I'm going to retire Brock Lesnar, man. Like, that's, you can tell he's working, but this definitely felt like a shoot. He's just like, Goldberg is trash. And everyone's always said he was great, but he's always been trash. And so
Where
Adam
is
Cole
the
was
lie,
referencing that. No, there's no lie.
Where is the lie?
He's completely correct. And yeah, Adam Cole's calling him out on that and says that you know, you should go back to writing reviews for the Attitude Era because that era is dead. This is the Undisputed Era. Now, call me crazy, but could we be seeing seeds here for an Adam Cole versus Triple H feud at a future takeover?
I don't think it would be at takeover. Potentially, maybe when Adam Cole goes up, potentially. But I would hope against hope that Triple H does not insert himself into NXT. I don't think he ever would, because the whole thing is it's like the next generation, the next line of stars, and he is the past. He's not even really the present anymore, in my opinion.
Yeah, but if he's gonna put over one of his boys, why not do it at a takeover?
I don't think he'd do it in NXT because that just like it's too much like Austin McMahon. It's too much like authority figures fighting wrestlers, and I get that he is a wrestler, but yeah. That's something I would not want to see. Baby.
Fair enough. I just think that there's definite like seeds being sown there, or if not, then Adam Cole's smart to say random shit like this because it can get thrown into a video package later if they ever end up working together. So, you know, I thought it was good. Then, of course, Tyler Breeze comes out and he says he doesn't care what's undisputed or who's better looking, but it's me, by the way. I love the whole model gimmick. I don't know why. And yeah, it says that they're trying to take credit for a brand he built. How do you feel about that? You know, Tyler Breeze built NXT.
It's a bold call, but Tyler Breeze, maybe not. I don't think Tyler Breeze built NXT, but Tyler Breeze was built by NXT, which is something that you can't really say about a lot of the stars these days. I don't know much about his indie thing because I don't know stuff about like his indie circuit, but I feel like the only one I can think of that's on the roster at the moment is Velveteen Dream, who is the other one who has been built by NXT. We've got a lot of like already large names coming in, so I don't think he built NXT. I think that it's, you know, a multifaceted diamond. I'm rambling now. Yeah. So no.
Well, I feel like I've been talking a lot, so I'm trying to let you ramble. This is.
I didn't agree with the statement, but I liked the effect that it had.
Yeah. I think that. I mean, you know, the crowd chanting OG for him was really nice.
It was really nice.
He's not even an NXT OG though, is he?
Not as Tyler Breeze, but he had like a lot of reincarnations before the Tyler Breeze gimmick stuck. Like he had a lot of gimmick changes.
Yeah.
He was in NXT for a long time because I remember most of the stuff that I know about him is from Breaking Ground, and he was in NXT for a long ass time.
Yeah. Fair enough. I guess I didn't realize that he was there with other names or anything before that, so that's probably where I'm messing it up. Because like when you think of the OGs, you're thinking of like Seth Rollins and stuff were in NXT to begin
Yeah,
with.
Paige.
Bray
Yeah.
Wyatt, like the Wyatt family were there for a hot minute. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, we find out that Regal's made a match with Breeze, Riddle, and Dream against any three of Undisputed Era in the main event. We move on. We get Raul Mendoza versus Damian Priest. This is Damian Priest's debut. What did you think of Damian Priest?
Sorry, let me get to my notes. I didn't really get it. I don't think I have sort of seen much of the lead up to it. I know there's been like a lot of vignettes and stuff. I didn't see much of it. This was okay.
Yeah,
This
well,
was
that's all
just
it's been
okay.
really. It's
Yeah.
just the vignettes, the hype packages, and then here he is. Now, as someone who's seen him as Punishment Martinez in Ring of Honor, I liked him here. I thought this was good. This showed his strengths. He looked good. He looked like a star. Whereas the first time I saw him in Ring of Honor, I don't know if it was the gear he was wearing or just the lighting in the venue on that particular show I was watching, because he grew on me in Ring of Honor. But when I first saw him, I was like, not a fan. I didn't become a fan of his till I saw him work with Hangman Page. They had like a little feud in Ring of Honor, and Hangman Page made him look like $1 million. But I thought just in entering the ring, destroying Raul Mendoza. I mean, Raul Mendoza got some offense in, but winning this match, he looked like a beast here. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good debut.
Yeah. I'm just like, I don't know. I wasn't too into it, but like I'm a hard person to please.
Yeah, well, we know because you won't watch NXT UK. Even like you gave them what, like a 2-week chance, I think.
Yeah.
Way back. Yeah.
I'd rather let 100 guilty guys go free than chase them. Yeah. Vintage Simpsons.
Fair enough. we move on. We get the announcement of the breakout tournament, which of course features our very own Jonah Rock, Bronson Reed. They even, as they're showing the names, they actually had like on the nameplates, I don't know if you saw this, it said formerly known as Jonah Rock, formerly known as Samuel Shaw, etc. So I thought that was a really nice. I thought that was a really nice touch. They actually had a formerly known as there so people could see, oh, this is that Jonah Rock guy, just in case they'd heard his name from PWG.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's pretty cool. Then we get a Mia Yim hype package, which, by the way, I have to apologize, made a mistake last week on the podcast, said that when they did the whole promo about with the what do they call themselves? The Iconics knockoff tag team, the girls.
Yep.
You know the ones I'm talking about. Vanessa Bourne and Aaliyah.
Yeah, I never know what they're called though.
Yeah, do they have a tag team name?
I don't know. I bet it's stupid. I know it's when they go to WWE they go stupid. I have no idea.
Yeah. Okay, but yeah, Aaliyah and Vanessa Bourne last week cut a promo where they were buying English textbooks for Mia Yim.
Oh yeah, that was in very bad taste.
Yeah, and we said that it was in bad taste, and then I proceeded to be incredibly racist by saying that from what I could tell, she was doing really well, like with the learning English, because I know that they do have English tutors and stuff at the Performance Center for the foreign stars, like with Spanish, with Japanese, with all of them. And turns out Mia Yim was born in California. I'm a fucking idiot. I was thinking of Xia Li.
Yeah.
Who features in the next match. So I was thinking of Xia Li and I got them confused, which in itself is problematic. And I apologize. I just want to throw that out there that I fucked up last week. But
reminds me actually just on a slight tangent, reminds me of this interview with this football player called Alan Christensen, who is Indigenous. And he was being interviewed he used to play for Geelong as well. And he was being interviewed by Dermot Brereton and he goes, how does it feel when you come back to Geelong from Darwin and you get to play football with like so many of your people? And he looks at him and he's like, oh yeah, I'm from Lara, which is about 10 minutes from Geelong. It's not in Darwin. It's not in the Northern Territory. He just assumed that because he was Indigenous, he was from Darwin. It was a beautiful moment and very similar. So yeah, we done fucked up. I don't know much about these people, so I don't know where they're from.
Yeah, and it was pointed out to me, but also I watched so SBS SBS On Demand, if you have the app on your phone or on your TV or whatever, SBS have a series called The Wrestlers. Like they had that Dark Side of the Ring, right? And now they've got one called The Wrestlers. And there's just a bunch of documentaries about wrestling. And it's a really good watch if anyone wants to check it out. It's completely free, obviously. It's on SBS. And episode 4, Powerful Women of Wrestling. And they go into like women in wrestling, specifically a few that have escaped domestic violence situations, and how wrestling has been a release for them. And Mia Yim was one of the people on that. And it was pointed out to me. And then I saw that as well. I was watching that documentary and I was like, oh, wow, yeah, she has like thick Californian accent, like perfect. I'm a fucking idiot. And I felt so awful. So I just wanted to point that out and also plug that documentary. So everyone go watch that on SBS On Demand because it's really good.
I think it's called Viceland, isn't it? What is Viceland? Is that the name of the series, or is it the name?
I don't know, because I know that they air on Vice in America.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Viceland is like a featured spot on SBS when it airs on. But like if you go on the SBS On Demand app, you just type in The Wrestlers and it comes up.
Okay, cool. I wasn't sure about that.
Yeah, so I don't know. That's just how I watch it. It does air on SBS as well. I just don't know when. But the whole series is up. So you can watch it on demand, which is easier. That's how I watch everything. I've
been avoiding like all the SBS stuff ever since I watched the Von Erich one. I don't know what I was expecting. I don't know why. I was not that I was expecting it to be cheerful, but like that one definitely hit me the hardest. Like especially when I realized at the end that he was. Is it Kerry? Is he the one?
Kerry Von Erich, yeah.
He's the one who's left.
Yeah.
He was so positive about life, like considering all the suffering that he had gone through and all the pain and everything. He was just like, in the end, life is beautiful and it's a gift. And I don't know, that fucked me up. I was just like,
yeah.
Sorry, I'm just getting into.
No, I feel you. That's the into your dander feels. God damn it, Danders. Okay, no, that's Dark Side of the Ring though. So this is a different series. Dark Side of the Ring is definitely. I mean, it's the darker side, and I guess they balanced it out by releasing this The Wrestlers. I'm only that 4th episode. I fell asleep watching that, so I have to rewatch that one. But the 4th episode was the one I was talking about with Mia Yim. The first couple focused on. There was a couple of episodes that focused on Mexican wrestling, Lucha Libre, and it was really cool. There was like these guys that wrestle at the stoplight. Like, you know how people will sell things at the stoplight?
Yep.
These guys wrestle at the stoplight. Like they put on a match with ladder dives and everything on the pavement and then go around and go around the cars for tips.
That is insane and sounds a little bit dangerous.
No, you got to watch it, man. It's fucking amazing. I'll see if I can find a clip to send to you. And then there was an episode based around Evolve, and it was clearly shot a couple years ago because like Keith Lee was there, Matt Riddle was there, Drew Galloway was there, and they had like Drew McIntyre, Drew Galloway. They had Darby Allin was featured, and Darby Allin, of course, now a big part of AEW. He's going to be a megastar. Austin Theory as well. So yeah, it's definitely something that people should be watching. It's far more upbeat than the dark side ones.
Yeah, much.
It does go a little political. Like I said, touches on domestic violence in the Mexican episodes. It touches on Trump's wall and how that sort of stuff is affecting workers wanting to work in California and Texas and other places. So it does get a little political if that's not your thing, but it's not as dark.
Yeah. Sounds good. Sounds much less fuck you up-ish.
Yes. Yeah, it doesn't affect the dander feels as much. So, yeah, definitely. But
promotional consideration paid for by the following.
This month we are sponsored by Grapple, a fantastic new wrestling app available on iOS and Google Play completely for free, where you can rate all the matches that you watch in WWE, Impact Wrestling, New Japan Pro Wrestling, all across the world, and we are even getting Australian wrestling involved in the Grapple app rating system as well, starting with PWA Pro Wrestling Australia. Their Green Label event from the other week is up there. The Black Label event, All Eyes on Troy, is up there. And the last 2 years of events, at least, are up on Grapple right now for you to rate so that people can get around our Aussie wrestling and see that we are just as good as anywhere else in the world. Basically, Grapple is a Rotten Tomatoes for wrestling. Now we all get to say it is the democratization of match rating systems for pro wrestling. It's amazing. So I get to say, you get to say, you can follow me on there at GregUnchained. You can follow Big Boy Mikey at B+_Big Boy, at Mr. Mysterious is on there, at Danders is on there, at Jay is on there. We're all on there rating the matches that we watch. So follow us. We'll follow you back. Let's build this community and get as many Australian wrestling fans onto the Grapple app as we can. You can download it right now. It has over 30,000 matches on there going back to 1985, 15 promotions around the world. There's so much to do on the Grapple app. It's a great little community, so get around it. It's Grapple, GRAPPL.co, and it's for free on App Store and Google Play. Get around it. But all that said, we move on to the person that I got Miriam confused with, Xia Li, having a match with Tainara Conchi, which she won, which surprised me because Tainara Conchi's been on TV quite a bit and picked up quite a few wins. Xia Li has kind of been, a bit part at this point on NXT TV. So to see her picking up a win, showing off her brutal kicks was really nice.
Yeah, it was. And it did catch me by surprise, which I really enjoy in my wrestling. I like when I'm surprised and not just, like infuriated. So yeah, I really like that she got the win. Helps her get a little bit of traction going without sort of taking anything away from, what's the other girl called?
Tainara Conchi.
That's it.
Yeah, the Brazilian one.
Yeah.
I do like the way NXT books, because like I said, when I was talking about NXT UK, right? Cassius Ohno, he won, of course, because he's the guy who should win that match. The Hunt, they lost to Gallus because even though they were on a hot streak and they're being pushed right now, Gallus are the established dominant heel team, and you need to give them wins from time to time. And NXT can fall into very predictable booking patterns, but they never let you get too comfortable, because every now and then something like this will happen. Out comes Tainara Conchi. She's pretty well established. Out comes Xia Li, who's less established. And you think, okay, this is a showcase for Conchi. And it turns out to be the exact opposite. And you're like, oh, damn. Okay, we're getting behind Xia Li now, because they started talking about Xia Li's going to start looking towards the women's title picture, right? I like the way they do things in NXT.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of things that they do in NXT, this next match was phenomenal.
Well, you're forgetting the Street Profits promo, which wasn't phenomenal.
That's why I forgot it.
So we got a Street Profits promo first before we get to the phenomenal main event. How do you feel about Street Profits? Can I ask you that?
I don't feel a whole lot about them.
Yeah, me either. Have you been watching Road to, like, the AEW Road to shows?
I'm not dignifying that with a response.
Okay,
I watch 1 hour of wrestling a week that isn't local wrestling, and this is it.
Yeah. Okay, well, can I ask you for some homework? Yeah, I'm going to send you. I will send you the link. Okay, and I will queue it up to the time slot and everything. So we're talking like a 2-minute commitment here to watch a clip of Private Party being hyped up for AEW, and look at the way they're presented versus the way Street Profits are presented, because they get compared gimmick wise, which makes perfect sense. Like Private Party have the red cup, and they're these party guys from Brooklyn, right? And I just want to show you their promo and see how they're presented versus how Street Profits are presented, and tell me what you think. Can we do that?
When do I have to watch this by?
By the time we record this next week.
Okay. Can you remind me next week?
Of course I can, Danders. It's what I do. I will set the reminder in my phone right now.
Sick.
And we're back. Okay, cool. I literally set a reminder in my phone. And now we can talk about the main event that you wanted to talk about.
Yes. This is like, whenever I see matches like this, I'm just like, this is the shit. This is why people watch NXT. Because sometimes I forget. Because sometimes, like, I don't know.
This is why people watch wrestling.
Yeah, it's hard to get, like, a full, proper storyline within an hour.
Yes.
Like, it's hard to get a plethora of, like, desirable characters within an hour. And yeah, but then I see matches like this, and I'm like, this is why people watch this shit. Like, this is legit why. I love this match. I thought it was real, and like, because I get a little bit spacey at times. I forget like the build and stuff like that, and I forget what's going on. And then I see matches like this, and I'm like, it doesn't matter what's going on. Like, I mean, I know that the storyline is such an integral part to it, but it's also just really good wrestling.
Yeah. This is something that was being discussed on the Wade Keller Pro Wrestling podcast, was whether things need to have a story or whether it's people just want good matches. Because on WWE this week, they had like Seth Rollins and Daniel Bryan, right, in a main event that got broken up with a bunch of ridiculous interferences and resets and stupidity.
Mhm.
And they were discussing how WWE think that's what people want because people want storylines, but because they've been so awful at building storylines, we're in an era now where wrestling, all the storyline wrestling fans who watched for casual entertainment, most of them have dripped away, and the people left are, you know, the more hardcore casuals over anything, because even a lot of the hardcores are turning off WWE. But the point they were making was people just want to watch a good athletic match now. And so people were hyped for Seth Rollins and Daniel Bryan, and you see the ratings peak up a little when that match gets announced. People are like, oh, okay, I'm going to tune in to watch this match. And then it becomes a piece of crap, and people are tuning out.
Yeah.
Because they're like, this is nonsense.
The thing is,
They just want good wrestling.
I think if you have, to me, like, I'm always going to be team storyline for sure.
Yeah.
But
too.
the thing is that you can have, if you have like a match with no story that still is a legitimately good match, then it's still a good match. Whereas you can have storyline up the wazoo, and yet if the match falls flat, no one gives a shit. It's just seen as a big missed opportunity. So I think that the in-ring competition definitely has to come first. Did that make sense? It made sense in my head.
Yeah, no, it did. It did make sense. And like the in-ring competition can tell a contained story as well.
Yeah.
Like we got setups for multiple potential stories in a match like this, you know, which is what you want. I just want to point out as well how great Tyler Breeze is. I love that Tyler Breeze is back in NXT, being able to actually have matches and actually wrestle. It's so much fun for me seeing him work.
And he gets to be like silly without being like cartoony. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because like his character is silly and it has just not translated onto the main roster at all.
No, and that's because of all the things we heard about in the Moxley interview with Jericho, right?
Which
all
I
the
still
creative
haven't
issues
listened to, which I'm such
with
a
Vince
terrible
McMahon.
fan. I'm going to listen to that. I have.
Are you a terrible fan or are you a good fan? Because you just watch the thing you like.
Well, look, I don't complain. I don't like complain about shit and then continue to watch it, at least.
Yeah.
That's like my one redeeming feature as a shit fan.
Yes.
No. I have like a plane ride on Saturday. That's when I'm going to listen to it. So yeah, cool story, Danders.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah, Tyler Breeze fits in NXT, and I guess it goes back to like the thing with Gargano when he was saying that he doesn't, you know, people keep asking him when's he going on the main show. He's like, this is the main show to me. And maybe that
it's not going up, it's going across, that whole thing.
Yeah, and maybe that's what they can build NXT to, is like no longer being seen as like the stepping stone, that it is its own thing.
It should be a destination. I mean, think about even back in the day in the, you know, what Tyler Breeze thinks is the formational years of NXT. Well, it's like when NXT first had the first takeovers. I think it was not a takeover, and I think it might have been called Arrival. It was a takeover. It was the 4-way. I can't remember, but there was one of the early NXT live events.
Side note,
they did.
Just before you continue, remember how that time we were talking about Fall Out Boy song, like about wrestling shows being named after Fall Out Boy songs?
Yes.
There is a Fall Out Boy song called The Takeover That Breaks Over.
Yes.
That NXT need to have NXT, The Takeover That Breaks Over.
NXT Takeover That Breaks Over, yeah. Good call.
Yeah.
Good call.
That came up on Shuffle. That came up on Shuffle today, and I was just like, yes, throwback.
It's not even a song though. It's like the intro to the album, isn't it? With Jay-Z on it.
No, it's the dun 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 dun.
Okay, and now we've got Danders singing again. Awesome.
I promised I wasn't going to sing. Every time I listen back to these episodes,
at the beginning, right? And the claps, like with the Jay-Z.
No, it's the one. It's like,
here.
Would you rather be a hero or a danger?
Man, I'm gonna have to listen. Yeah.
Song,
all right. Anyway.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think people want to hear us talk about Fall Out Boy. We could do it. Do you reckon there's a market for like a pop punk throwback podcast where we analyze pop punk songs from the mid 2000s?
No, because like literally every pop punk song is the same.
I would be so here for that. No, I don't think they're all the same. I think that they all evoke very different. We can talk about like, you know, the memories of high school. I don't know. Now I'm starting to feel sad.
So yeah, how do we feel about NXT? When's the next takeover? Have we just had?
No, hang on. No, I had a point here. I had a point here with Tyler Breeze. We just had Takeover 25 though, to answer your question.
Okay.
So the next one's going to be a while away. But no, we're moving on. Tyler Breeze though, as great as he is, he did stand out a little here for one of the wrong reasons, in my opinion. He was a bit pasty and a bit doughy.
Bit out of form.
I'm just saying, like, when you look at the guys that he's in there with Riddle, who's chiseled out of stone, Dream, who's chiseled out of stone. All four of the Undisputed Era are fit as hell, and you can tell that they literally live and work. Not basically, because when you're working at NXT, you're there training every day, right? Like it's basically a 9 to 5, and it's a 9 to 5 with a gym, a fully equipped athletic gym, and PTs and doctors and all these people around you, nutritionists and what have you. Whereas Tyler Breeze has been living on the road for the last few years. And I got to say, just standing next to those other 5 guys, I think that there's one area that he could improve in his game.
That
and it's
I
his
was
look.
so supportive of you and your dad bodism for the call-in show. And here you are condemning Tyler dad bod Breeze.
I'm not condemning it at all. I mean, clearly he's a healthy, fit, like he looks better than me. I'm not saying otherwise. I'm just saying, like, standing next to all of those guys, I was just like, oh, wow, you can tell that they've been in this place for the last couple of years where they're literally working at a place that is a gym, and he has not. That's all.
Last week, it was fucking getting on the unit for being short, and this week, it's Tyler Dad Bod Breeze. Just all the image shaming, Gregory.
His gimmick is that he is a male model.
And you know what? There is room for plus-size models in our industry.
But he's not plus size. He's nowhere near plus size. I know you're riling me up. It's what you do, Danders. You're too good at it. Anyway, that was NXT this week. Roderick Strong ended up pinning Velveteen Dream, which means you got to think there's a North American title shot in his future. Do you see it? Do you see Undisputed Era capturing all the gold?
Potentially. I just want to know, like, how much longer they're gonna. I don't know how much longer they're gonna all be together. Do you think they're in it for a long term?
Adam Cole has said they don't want to break up, like in non-kayfabe interviews, right? Like he has said that they, similar to New Day, they look at it and they're like, factions breaking up is so like. Bleh. Like it's happened.
Because then when you bring them back together, it's never the same.
Yeah. And so he's like, we'd like to just stick together and do our own things and do our things together, and that, we don't have to always be with each other at every point. So like, even if they split brands, you could imagine them still being Undisputed Era and it being like a brotherhood.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, which I'm all about that. Like, I love factions that are factions. Like, this is a group of guys that we train together, and even when we're elsewhere, we're still together. Like the 4 Horsewomen too, right? Like the actual UFC, like Ronda and her girls. Whatever your personal opinion may be of any of them, they are an actual group of best friends that train together, work together, all that stuff. And that doesn't just go away.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Anyway, that does it for the NXT edition this week. Danders, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Rachel Danderfield, on Patreon at patreon.com/Rachel Danderfield, on Twitter at Danderfield, and please don't add me on Facebook because we're not friends.
And I am at Greg Unchained on Twitter, at the Greg Unchained on Instagram. We collectively are the B Plus Wrestle on Twitter because wrestling wouldn't fit. The B Plus Wrestling everywhere else. Like, share, subscribe, 5-star review if you like what we do. And thank you so much for listening.